Hey everybody, welcome to DDOcast episode 265, recorded live on Sunday, January 6, 2013. Today's music is DDO Puzzle Music House Dub Remix. That's the music you get when you're doing the puzzles in the Delirium Quest. I'm your host, Siegfried Trent. With me is lovely producer and wife, Ann Trent. Hi, darling.
Hey everyone, Happy New Year.
Indeed. And with us we have, from DDOgamer.com, Jeff Hanna.
Happy New Year, DDO.
You can catch live shows most Sunday afternoons on G Plus Hangouts as DDOcast or at DDOcast.com/live. You can watch the recorded shows on YouTube or listen to it on iTunes or on our RSS feed from DDOcast.com. Get all the showtimes, updates, and DDO goodness on Facebook, Twitter, and G Plus as DDOcast. And, of course, on DDOcast.com. If you want to be a part of the show, you can contact us. You can leave us a voicemail on our toll-free YARK line at 1-855-DDO-YARK. That's 1-855-336-9275. Or email us at DDOcast@gmail.com. Give us something to say on the air or make a request to join the show as a guest or be a part of the DDOcast legacy and make us a segment or a commercial or other funny thing. On the podcast this week, it is our year in review episode. We're looking at last year's releases, also news of the week, community tidbits, some DDO gamer action, and also at the end, some crunchy bits as we're going to look at Doublestrike. I haven't done crunchy bits in a while, so it'll be kind of fun. We'll start with the game news. There ain't much of it this week. This is our last day today. If you're listening live, if you're not listening live, that happened a while ago, to collect festival coins after tonight, January 6th. They are done. Until January 13th, you can turn them in. So you better hustle and get your goodies and cakes and things. Midwinter Ice Games go live Monday, January 10th. That is tomorrow as of the live show. If you're listening recorded, it's probably already happening. Squeak of Doom has been on Lamania over the weekend previewing it. I didn't get a chance to go on and check it out. Jeff, any chance you went and looked at that?
No, not this time.
Yeah, okay. I skated around on the frozen river a little bit, but that was about it.
I checked it out the last preview, but not this preview.
Oh, okay, cool. DDO Store News, free samples are back. Yay! You can get exciting 20 Astral Shards if you use the code ASTR20. That's kind of like Astr, and then you stop and then type 20. So you get 20 shards that way. I guess that's enough to respec your enhancements or something. It's, I don't know, it's something. Worth 120 turbine points, something like that. 20% off of Hearts of Wood, pretty much all varieties that I could tell. 32-point builds, name changes, and veteran status. So, if you've got a bad reputation, you better get that name changed. So. Comes in handy. The Pugger's Friend, I don't know. All right, well, that's it for news. There's really not much going on right now. I think there's kind of a lull as they are cranking together the next update to the game. Working on Giant Hold, as I understand it. Let's see. So let's go on, and we'll do our DDO 2012 year in review. So we take a walk down memory lane over the exciting year of 2012. So basically, we've just got a little outline here, and I don't know, we can chime in and comment on things that we like to remember or don't. So I'll read the facts, then we can opine. Update 13, Web of Chaos. That was the first update released this year. It was on February 27th, 2012, DDO's 6th birthday. This was the Web of Chaos as a prequel to DDO's upcoming expansion, Menace of the Underdark, and offers three quests in addition to numerous other changes: Lord of Dust, Servants of the Overlord, and the Spinner of Shadows. Notable features and changes: we got end reward changes. We now see all the available named items options on the quest arc and reward lists after completing the arc. Introduced new tutorial system, the kind of the textual thing and the little meta quest guide that you get in Korthos Island, Evening Star. What else we got? They got the hot fixes. There was one hot fix and 2 patches to this particular update. A special feature since it was kind of the year of bugs. We thought we'd include that. 4 days after, on March 2nd, they put out a hot fix. Redeeming Menace of the Underdark pre-order tickets and 6-year birthday cakes. A month later, we had patch 1, which fixed issues with reincarnation and epic scroll drops. And patch 2 was on April 30th, which had a modified stuff for the physics engine, which we've been sort of paying for ever since. So I don't know.
I got like 5 tickets from that hot tick because they kept on repushing out the Menace of the Underdark tickets.
Yeah.
For if you pre-ordered the big package, you got this ticket, which you visited the little NPC out in front of the leaky dinghy. And
Yeah.
they kept on resending those tickets. So now.
Oh, that's
I
right.
have,
Yeah,
like,
we had bunches of them.
on every character, I have 2 of those Onyx,
Oh, I got
Panthers.
Panthers galore. Yeah, Panthers everywhere. Thank goodness they stack.
Yeah, they stack when you put them in the hireling folder. Oh my god.
Yeah, lots of stuff. We were all pretty excited because it was kind of a surprise. I mean, they kind of snuck this one out, and it was like, boom. We had our little kind of sneak preview because we saw the URL. Somebody pointed them out to us. And we were like, what are these? And we were guessing, like, Masters of the Universe. We weren't sure. We weren't sure what MOTU was. Menace of the Underdark.
If the Panther had a saddle and was green instead of black, I would have been happy.
Yeah. So we were kind of saw it coming, although it also said Underdark and stuff. So we kind of figured some things were coming, but it was a pretty cool surprise. So yeah, physics engine maybe not so awesome.
Yeah. Well, wasn't it this during this bug? During this update there was a bug with reincarnating.
Yeah, you could get stuck on the boats was the problem.
You couldn't get out of the boats. Oh, all right.
Yeah. Yeah, because they do that thing which I didn't necessarily care for, where they limit the they limit you to not being able to take druid levels initially when the druids came out and that sort of thing. I guess that was later. That's sort of update 14, but there was some stuff like that, as I recall, that made it difficult for the reincarnation. I'm not sure. So many bugs all the time. Anyway, that led into update 14, which was DDO's first big expansion, Menace of the Underdark. Hoo-hoo, June 25th. Took a little while from it to preview to actually come out there. But, of course, we got all kinds of stuff. We got the Forgotten Realms. We got Evening Star. We've got the challenges there. We've got the Menace of the Underdark flagging. We've got the Adventure Areas in the King's Forest, the Underdark, Shindelren, Demon Web, side quests, Riddle, Murder by Night, Don't Drink the Water, Belly of the Beast, Evening Star Challenge Pack. You got the level cap increase. We got the Epic Destinies. We got the Epic Feats. We got the Druid. We've got armor class mechanic changes in there. Huge number of items, feat, and enhancement changes. Poison mechanics changed. Monsters added. Madness. Cat sleeping with dogs. Crazy
Epic
stuff.
Destinies.
Yeah, Epic Destinies. I mean, just huge changes to the game. I mean, it was kind of, it was a true sequel, and it was a big deal. Still is. Community changes. DDO started doing YouTube videos. Dungeons and Dragons Online Eberron Unlimited just becomes Dungeons and Dragons Online. I think most people just considered it that anyway, most of the time.
Well, it was a branding decision that they made. So, like, they started out as a DDO Stormreach because it was focused on Eberron and Stormreach specifically, and then it went to Eberron Unlimited because they went free to play, and then they added Forgotten Realms, which made it not anywhere. It's beyond Eberron, so now it's just DDO.
Yeah, they went back to what they probably should have been in the first place. So,
well, there were licensing issues, though, right? I mean, wasn't this always tied to changes in the license?
Oh yeah, there was licensing issues. They got DDO because they had a settlement with Atari in the lawsuit. So.
Oh yeah, if you go online, there's like a history of the ownership of the rights to make Dungeons and Dragons online video games, and it's like 3 pages of dense text of this person bought these things and went out of business and sold it to these guys, who then bought those guys and then changed their name back to what the original guys were called, but then went under and sold themselves to these guys, and it just went on and on. And the weird thing is there's like 3 or 4 players that kind of keep rebuying and buying old companies and dying and renaming, and it's just madness. So, yeah, all kinds of craziness. Which probably, in the end, might have worked out to Turbine's favor because, it's kind of hard to hang on to those things. And, so, who knew? But, I don't know, crazy good stuff. I mean, I'm still milking and exploring Menace of the Underdark. I mean, I've done all the quests now, but I'd only just done Belly and the Beast, a month back or so. So, it took me a while to actually experience all the in-game content. And I'm still, collecting items and doing my Epic Destinies and all that. So, I've still got a lot more to milk out of this thing. So, it was a good deal. I was happy about it.
Yep, huge content. I'm only... Well, vaguely, within the last month or two, have finished most of it. So, well, really all of it. But I do want to nominate something in here. This is end of the year wrap up, right? So, my nominee for favorite new mechanic introduced of 2012 is in the Menace of the Underdark pack. Specifically, you see it in several places, but it happens a lot in Shindralin, and it's the Slave Master Collared Slaves mechanic.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a whole new way of attacking. You know, this is something we have never had to deal with before. New tactics. Do you send a rogue in first to try and find the Slave Master? I've had a lot of success recently with intimidating the slaves and keeping them on me until we can find the Slave Master. I just like that it adds new tactics and a new way to fight. I like that. So that's my nominee for Best New Change of 2012.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's very much so. I really like that mechanic. It gives the fights kind of a dynamic they didn't have before. So yeah, I agree definitely. It's very cool. Unless you're just evil and you just mow everybody down, but you know.
Well, then you like it too, right?
Of course.
I like the Drow priestesses because they kind of have this sort of power up. I don't know, limit break if you want to go Final Fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
If they go down, they start sucking life from other creatures around them. So that's a really cool mechanic for me.
And they're super badass afterwards too. Their DR goes up, everything goes up.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they need to do more things like that. Monsters that interact a little bit more in the battle. You know, maybe critters that spawn other critters, or I don't know, all kinds of stuff.
Except
critters that when you
Memphis.
hit them, they move around.
Spiders.
Yeah, I guess Memphis do spawn other Memphis in some occasions, don't they?
Memphis are stupid broken right now.
Are they?
I think they've always been. Well, it's
evil.
weird because, well, yeah, they are evil, and they'll spawn something, and then I don't know, especially if there's some sort of quest mechanic that relies upon you for killing mobs in the quest, and then they spawn.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think it got really out of hand when they started spawning inside of walls.
Well, sure, yeah. That's never a lot of fun.
Like,
yeah. So I guess we do have some critters that make other critters. Not quite the way I'm imagining, I guess, but yeah, that's cool. And feed off of them and stuff, like slivers in Magic. That'd be good. I guess we have some of that too. There's some of that in the Shroud. The different creatures feed on each other as they get close to each other. They grant powers and stuff. It's pretty.
That's
nice
true.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Synergies.
Yeah, stuff like that is fun. Let's see. This one, the hotfix count is kind of the same as the previous one, so much more content, but about the same number of changes. We got one hotfix and 2 patches. 3 days later, they released to address several bugs. Most importantly, a fix to the bug that was blocking players from speaking to the NPCs leading to and from the Forgotten Realms, which is definitely a problem when that's the feature. Patch 1 was released July 11th to open up the new raid, which failed to release during the expansion itself, and which was then closed again and then fixed again. The raid did not do well.
Open, close.
Yeah, that was.
You should have put a
definitely
turnstile and people just walk in a circle and get spit back out again.
Yeah, I think generally the thought was that raid just wasn't quite done yet by the time they had to release. So, patch 2 was on July 26th, fixed a number of quest bugs, ranged combat bugs, finally reopened, caught in the web, Menace of the Underdark raid, and it stayed open since then. And maybe a raid that's not super well received. I think people are just kind of neutral on it. Most people don't hate it. Most people don't love it. It's somewhere in the middle. Yeah, for me, the Epic Destinies were the biggest kind of thing that I got the most enjoyment out of Menace in the Underdark. But all the quests, definitely good. I run a lot of those.
Yeah, just
I
the
like
sheer
the new monsters. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the new models, absolutely new models, sheer amount of new content, new mechanics. I thought it was a great release. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's made one of the better years of DDO. I mean, if you can get past the bugs, it's been a fun year for new stuff. Especially if you're a character builder and stuff like me. It breathed a lot of life into a lot of my characters that probably previously, I just wasn't that interested in. Update 15 was next, Song of Druid's Deep and Corruption of the King's Forest, released on August 20th, just in time for PAX Prime. Content update with a new adventure pack with Outbreak, Overgrowth, Thorn and Paw, Druid's Curse, Ruin Keep, the Daybreak Ritual, new challenge, new features and monsters, had the monster manual added in, raid timer bypass available in the Turbine store. This one had 1 hotfix and 2 patches. Maybe that's just sort of their general outlay there.
I have no clue.
Hotfix came 3 days later after the new quest. Patch 1 was on September 10th, which fixes to Epic Destinies quests UI. Patch 2 was on October 10th. More fixes for different areas of the game. We had Maybar off to a pretty rocky start, lots of lag. and that got a hot fix and some patches as well. And then we had some turbine layoffs. That was not so good to hear about. Just a few days before Maybar, the Boston Globe reported that Turbine laid off a number of people in the wake of Warner Brothers reorganization, hired a new leadership of design, VP of technology, executive director for engineering. So lots of changes there. It's too bad, because in a way they just came off of something really kind of impressive, and then get downsized. Oh well. So it goes in the computer game business, though. So I don't know, Druid's Deep, for me, I kind of like the look of a lot of those quests, but I don't enjoy running them all that much for what... I'm not sure why. It's one of those things hard to put my finger on, but they're not some of my favorites. They feel kind of grindy. But I don't know. And a lot of people in my guild felt about the same way, so we don't do these ones real often. Nothing terrible in here. I mean, the monster manual, I mostly ignore. I think it's neat. Like, I like the idea of it, but personally, I just don't do much with it. Raid timer bypass, I could care less about. So,
I think it's selling like crazy, though. I mean, watching the forums, it sounds like people are eating these things like popcorn.
Oh yeah.
So.
Okay, that's cool.
I personally have never purchased one, but I know that people are asking for them in general chat. Mm-hmm. So, okay. I think Turbine's hit on a moneymaker here.
That sounds good. I mean, for me, anything that makes Turbine some cash that doesn't really impact my gameplay in a negative way, I'm all for it. If people want to raid all day, all night, rock and roll.
Have a good time.
Yeah, exactly. So,
I think that's pretty cool. Had a number of fixes to it, though. They addressed a number of bugs, which
yeah. Yeah, well, this is when they started to get into the, they're really getting a lot of complaints about the bug fixing. That's when they kind of decided that, we're going to start focusing on that and really dig into it. Although this was kind of the transition point. But it's also when the bugs started to get really bad. Maybar, as we call it, the endless fail, or it just really kept having issues.
Oh, yeah,
it was never quite all the way there. I got some stuff, and I got my Dawson out of it and stuff. So, but overall,
Tomes
I was
of
not
Learning
enthused.
were pretty awesome at this point as well. Was it this season? When were Tomes of Learning? Where you could get bonuses to XP.
Yeah, I don't remember. I thought those were part of Menace of the Underdark. It was part of that.
Okay, yeah, I think
part
so.
of the goodie bag. If you bought the deluxe version of Menace of the Underdark, you got the Super Tomey package, and the first person who turned it in, you got the big experience tome, and then the next ones you got the little experience tomes.
Yeah, but they didn't have that in the store just yet, right? You couldn't actually buy it in the store until later.
Yeah, until a little bit later. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. But, the store has expanded hugely over this last year. I think that's one of the things we don't necessarily cover in this list of stuff, but they have added a ton of items to the store. I would say at least doubled the amount of things that are in there, if not tripled them, over the last year.
You can thank the director of design, or was it? Oh, VP of technology with emphasis on online engagement and monetization.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was his official title.
It's not just the year of the bug. It's also the year of DDO store. So, at least half of the new stuff that comes out is directly store related, and in many cases only store related.
Yeah, that's true. There's obviously the Astral Shards, and a lot of things have focused more and more on that. And again, it's another one of those things. Fine by me. I haven't changed my DDO store purchases as much. I buy some cosmetic pets, and I occasionally buy tomes, and I buy character slots, and not much else. That's kind of the occasional res thing.
Yeah, Ray's cake. Love my Ray's cake.
Well, they said that
with a big stack of Ray's cakes, I'm almost as good a player as anybody else.
Yeah. Indeed. Did you see the figgy pudding cakes? So they're like super Ray's cakes. They bring back you and your hirelings.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Figgy pudding. It's holidays.
Yeah, I just saw those on the featured thing. I didn't even remember about them, but yeah, I do buy those on occasionally. But I buy my Ray's cakes on a purely, oh god, okay, all right, I'll go dig one out. I even used one soloing once. I can't believe it.
Once?
Why did you do that?
Once?
Yeah, just once. Usually I use them when I'm in with Anne, and we're both dead. I'm like, okay, I'll go get a cake. Hold on, dear.
For me, it's an investment question, right? So how many minutes have I invested in this quest versus 50 cents?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 50 cents for 30 minutes? I'm buying a raise cake.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's a second level quest. Except I didn't say that out loud, right?
Yeah, no, we didn't. No, we'll edit that out in post-production. Yeah, I guess I don't use them too often. I will just restart a quest or I'll re-enter sometimes. I guess it depends. A lot of the time when I'm soloing, I'm just I don't really have a goal. I'm just kind of dorking around, so I don't care too much. But yeah, I have on occasion. Especially if I'm real close to a level, and I'm like, oh yeah, I want to level before I go to bed. And then you're like, oh man, no, I died. Yeah, then that's when I might bust one out.
I think the most thing I've spent so far this year were the cosmetic pets.
Yeah.
Cosmetic pets. That's where all my turbine points went to.
Probably many of mine. I'm not sure, but quite a few.
Which of you has a green Jello cube with a hat?
Oh, both of us.
Oh, of course.
Both of us.
We both have a hat.
Did I even need to ask?
Yeah, no, generally not. I think I have I didn't buy the bear, so there was the bear recently. I didn't get that, but there's enough of them now that I've stopped carrying quite as much. At first, I was like, I must have them all. Now I'm like, that's plenty. But,
you know what's coming in the Winter Festival, right?
No. What do we...
A polar bear cub.
Oh,
that's the one I want to
just
get.
Think of the squeak that we're going to hear.
I really do want the polar bear, so I'll probably work on that.
Does he get a top hat there, darling?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, okay.
Everything gets a top hat. Jeez.
Well, the spider looks pretty dumb with the top hat. You can barely see it, so I don't know if that's worthwhile. I certainly have one, mind you, but, I was like, that was a waste. I shouldn't have done that. But somebody did bother to try and make it work, so that's cute. Let's see. Update 16, High Road of Shadows and the Netherese Legacy, our most recent one, which was on November 12th. We got a wilderness area, the High Road. We got a quest, stay at the inn, detour, rest stop, Lost on the Swamp, end of the road, new features, Primal Avatar, Epic Destiny, Astral Shard, Epic Destiny changes to items and fixes. We got the Cormier Midwinter Festival, or Midwinter Ice Races and the Rezia Ice Games, which will be coming up tomorrow, I guess. And only so far, one hotfix and one patch. We got the patch on December 1st. Festival and Astral Shards were added in, and then quickly after that we had the hotfix fixing the LFM disaster and some of the quest stuff. So so far, we'll see. Ice Games, that might get a hotfix and a patch. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully not. But for me, I would say like update 16 is kind of what I want from a normal expansion. It's got a little quest, a little wilderness area, a few quests that are pretty good, some items, a couple little rules additions. I really enjoyed it, and they threw in a lot of bug fixes as well. So they finally seem to, for my money, have things stabilized now, more or less. I haven't really had any bug issues in the games, and the forums have quieted down. So far, so good. So, I mean, there's still bugs out there. We were just talking before the show about one with the Drow Shuriken. I guess that's not working quite right. If you take the feat as a elective feat rather than getting it as a racial feat, that's not so good. Maybe your punishment for taking a really bad feat in the first place, but hey, it should work if it's in there. So there's still some bugs, but they're not the kind that are just sitting on people's heads.
Shattering.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just glad they fixed that shifting bug.
Yep. Yeah, that seems to be in good shape.
That was really painful. It got to the point where, I got other things I need to do.
Yeah, not so bad. So I really like this one. It made me very happy. So between this and the big patch, I don't know, it was a good year. I mean, this year had more content for DDO than any year I can remember. So that's good.
Right.
Yeah, I would say that this latest update was the best balance of what I was looking for in an update, which was an adventure area, a couple quests, and then a lot of bug fixes.
Yeah, I had fun with it. For a good month of tooling around. I really kind of worked on those quests and did them a few times and had a great time with it. Yeah, it was good stuff. Got a few of the items.
I really like the end quest in that series. I like the fact that, well, now they've recently made a change to it, but up until recently you had more than one way you could complete it. I thought the end fight was kind of interesting and novel. I liked the boss. So I really like that end fight. I like this pack too.
Yeah, it's just a really good design. It's well done overall. Yeah, just kind of nice balance. So good stuff.
Yeah. This was a really good storyline too. If you actually read the dialogue boxes, and it had really nice tie-in background stuff with Forgotten Realms lore itself. So it was appreciative. I was disappointed that the scrolls weren't actually platinum or gold. They were paper or parchment.
Oh, yeah, I didn't quite fit the lore.
It's like, meh.
But it was cool that one was hidden in plain sight. I liked that.
Yeah.
Although it was annoying. It was annoying the way every time I found one, an NPC would know better than take it from me. Even though I knew he... But we already talked about that in a previous episode. But
it was on the damn bulletin board. Oh, my God.
I want to be powerful. No, that's too dangerous for you.
I didn't even have to do that stupid quest. I could have just walked up to the stupid bulletin board and grabbed it off.
Yep.
That's classic what a DM would do to you. No, you don't have to go there, but you did anyways.
Oh,
yeah, I thought it was a fun set, and I think that those kind of wrinkles were throughout it. You know, all the quests had optional choices and dialogue that was worth listening to, and secret doors that in some cases took you a worse route.
Yep.
You know, that it was actually counterproductive to use the secret doors. So I thought it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, they're good quests. All right.
Do you remember that? I want to. On a side note, that same quest, we were on it with a couple of our friends, and we were playing it. We finished the whole thing, defeated the bad guy, and we forgot to pick up the damn scroll off the bulletin board.
Oh yeah, everybody recalled. They're all leaving, and I'm like, guys, quest not done yet. You gotta pick the thing up, you know.
Oops.
All came back. Yeah, that was pretty amazing. Cool. All right. Well, that's the year in review. I had a good year. Looking forward to 2013. I have no idea really what we're gonna see, except I know there's Giant Hold and lots of epic stuff for this next one. And other than that, I have no clue. But we'll see.
I would imagine it's updating the epic content because a lot of people requested it, and there's the birthday coming up. February 28th, DDO's 7th birthday. So that's when probably Update 17 is going to come out. So.
Yeah, I'm going to guess right around there. Yeah, we'll see.
I'm guessing we'll see epic treatment for the Shroud and for the two quests in Shavarath under I can't remember the name of it. The adventure area that's underneath, that you have to get underneath the marketplace.
Oh, I know what you're talking about, yeah.
I don't know why my brain goes blank on these, but the Hound and...
just called the Underground, I think.
Yeah, that guy. It's not Underdark anymore. That's used. But the other place, the other underground place. I bet we'll see those get epicked up.
Oh, that would be interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of noise on the forum right now about how easy the Hound has become, and it really has. Yeah. It needs an epic pass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think they're redoing a lot of items, giving them epic versions. They mentioned that they were doing the Mad Loot, and that's out in Shavarath, so... it sounds like it's a pretty wide-reaching kind of end game work is what they're working on right now. So that's cool.
Sweet.
Yeah,
but
I know
sorry.
Yeah.
Before we move on, my favorite new change of 2012 was the Slave Masters and collared slaves, right? And Anne's was the Priestesses of Lolth. What was yours?
Probably Epic Destinies.
Yeah, I would just say Epic Destinies. It's kind of a cop-out answer. But...
Epic Destinies is, kind of a...
in-play mechanic, I don't know.
No, that's a fair answer, right? Yeah. I mean, we didn't put qualifiers on this question.
Okay, yeah.
Why is it your favorite thing?
Oh, just because there's it breathes new life into a lot of my characters. It gives me more stuff to play with and differentiate them, more choices to make. I like making choices and building characters. So, yeah, it took some characters that were looking kind of shabby as far as endgame characters and made them, I don't know, made them feel kind of powerful and important. So, especially my two main characters. So, kind of gave my character Seablade a real tank ability and added a lot of DPS options for characters that, maybe I had gone in directions that weren't as optimal as, as a frenzied barbarian or something like that. And but using the Epic Destinies, I can get up there and feel pretty potent. So, yeah, it's good stuff.
Sweet.
So, one more thing. The one thing in the past year that really surprised me was the armor class updates. It kind of just like, what? how am I supposed to do this now? It kind of just shook up all of my builds, and it was like a really big change. But in the end, it didn't feel like it. I was making a big deal out of it after it happened. So
Yeah.
That's a fair question to ask. What's your least favorite change, right? So, and I would have to go with PRR and the rewrite to armor class in general. I think it's needlessly complicated. I understand there were issues with the old armor class, but it's hard for me to believe that they really needed a solution that required a slide rule to figure out. I'm still not clear on it.
Yeah, and there is that.
I'm moderately bright, but I just think, it's called PRR, which is not intuitive. I don't know. I'm just not in love with it. I would have rather they found a different way to solve this problem.
Yeah. I guess the system, it lends itself a little less to being able to figure out absolutely how to kind of tweak out your character, and instead you're just sort of pile on more armor class. If you get more armor class, that's great. If you can't, then don't worry about it. So I don't know. It's more approachable in a way, but it's also a little less fun in a way. I'm not sure. I don't feel bad about it. I think it kind of had to happen. The game was a little broken in the way it worked for armor class for characters. So I'm glad that I have mid-range characters that care that they have some armor class. But I do feel a little bit like the high-range characters don't care as much that they do have armor class, and that can be a little bit of a problem. But I'm not sure. Least favorite thing? I don't know. Just sloppiness. I was irritated with the sloppiness of the code in some cases. But
yeah, a couple of the bugs were kind of disappointing. Like when you watch your friend drop their pants in public.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, come on, Turbine. Can we please not? Oh, geez, really this? The ship amenity's gone again? Seriously? Yeah, it's just like, oh god, come on, please. I don't know. I continue to be disappointed by crafting. It's now even less useful than it was before. With all the new weapon, one of the things I really like was all the new weapon effects. Mm-hmm. There's all kinds of new stuff, but a lot of those aren't available in crafting, and so suddenly random items have become way better than crafted items again, and so
right,
it's not as much
they added a lot of new traits to those weapons as well, and it's really hard to keep track of them, especially at epic levels. And I don't know, can you even access those weapon traits for crafting in Cannith?
No.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, they're not in there yet.
So, okay.
Yeah, they need. Because it's so much work to do the kind of crafting thing, and I've been doing it, and I'm like slowly grinding. Someday it'll pay off, and now I'm like, I don't know if I want to make any of this stuff anymore, because I can make gear for my low bees, but that's not exactly what you call a crafting system. So
it's really handy for your TRs. So I was having problems with my TR banks just constantly overflowing, too much stuff.
Yeah.
Now it's not as bad because I just throw stuff away, and I'm going to make it fresh for them next life.
Yeah, you can make some nice generically useful stuff. I mean, it's not terrible, but I don't know. It's just every time I think I might be getting excited about it, then I get less excited.
Okay.
I'm still doing it. I still grind my shards, and I still work up my levels, and in the hope that someday I'll care. But I don't know. It's something to do. I mean, I'll give it that. But I just wish you could make more exciting things, or tinker with the things you have, or something. I always liked the idea that you could just do mix and match on the items that you already had, and you could move the abilities around and stuff. And I thought that would have been a lot of fun.
Yes, that was the way it was initially described to us.
Yeah,
right. That's what Glenn first said it was going to do, and that would have been awesome.
Yeah,
probably overpowered, but awesome.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we'd all be running around with crafted gear, and I guess the thing that I would do if I were making a system like that is I would change the caps around or something so that you couldn't make quite as good a gear as you could find, but you could pick what's on it and control it, and so it would be at a little disadvantage, but it would be customized, and to me that would be perfect, but not so much. And I wouldn't want it to be a ton of work. I mean, I'm fine leveling up a little bit, but I just don't want to grind on it. I just want to be creative. Oh well. So that's 2013. We're ending on a low note. Overall, though, I think it was a good year. I enjoyed it. So, without the bugs, it would have been a fantastic year. Would have been amazing.
Yeah. 2012, kind of buggy, great content. Great fluffy stuff. With Menace of the Underdark and Forgotten Realms. Awesome. I love it all. And Druids came out. Finally, Druids after six
years.
6 tiers druids. Oh my god. A base card.
And that's an awesome point, okay? Because you could argue, was this the best year of DDO? I don't know. I think it probably was. But I think this is probably the best 6th year that any premium MMO has ever had. I mean, have you ever heard of an MMO getting this much work in year 6? You know, it's just outstanding. I loved it.
Yeah, I don't know. I know a lot of people are really happy with the World of Warcraft expansion that was out recently, the Pandera stuff, but I don't know. But I don't know much about it personally. Just friends having fun with that. So, but yeah, no, I mean it's like I said, yeah, it would have been a perfect year if it was a little smoother, less rocky. But next year, I'm hoping 2013, the year of quality. Everything is shiny and good. And endgame player is delighted with their new epic items and stuff. So,
well, this is what I do know, if we from reading the forums, is that they're definitely going to do quality of life improvements. So I hope that's one of their top priorities. But also, they're going to probably work on epics, which is from Giant Hold, and then they're going to probably change how those augment systems in epic crafting work as well. So, do you remember those?
Right.
Yeah, because right now they feel kind of useless with all the random loot in the epic areas that you're getting. Epic, those augment crystals are kind of useless.
Oh, those things, yeah.
Yeah, because it's like, they're just a hassle. So I would really like to see that be finished. And then I guess what would be nice is if they would get started on the fixes to the enhancement system.
They promised us that. That's kind of...
It's like, where is that? They promised it. It's like, is it going to be an update 7? That would be nice, but I don't know.
I think they've already told us it's not going to be in 17.
Yeah, they said it's not in 17.
Yeah.
Right.
I would actually say I wouldn't expect it until the end of the year, and even then, I'm not sure. And my personal feeling right now is I don't really need that right now. Still got a lot of stuff to play with. I mean, I would certainly enjoy it a lot, and it would be nice to have all our promised prestige class things in place now. But I'd be fine if they take their time. Just take their time, do a good job of the thing, make it work real nice. I'm not in a hurry for it. I got plenty of stuff to play with already, so I can wait. I think we're going to see a couple more Epic Destinies come out, I'm pretty sure, to kind of fill out the tree so we have 4 in each area or something like that. So I'd say we're going to get at least 2 more of those this year. No idea what, but that would just be my guess.
And probably more Forgotten Realms content.
It'll be interesting to see what the balance is between Forgotten Realms and Eberron. I think the 17 is mostly Eberron focused, but we'll see. Which will be good.
It makes sense because they've got a solid license in it now, so they're going to exploit that content.
Sure. Well, and there's some things if you spend all your time over in Forgotten Realms, you're just sort of, they're shooting themselves in the foot, and there's a big piece of the game that people just aren't doing anything with, and so you want to have end game throughout the whole area, just to keep it busy.
True. Okay.
Well, let's talk a little bit about what's on DDO Gamer the last week or so. I noticed a couple new things on there. There's some new wallpapers, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. I don't know. I just see things and I like them, and I screen capture them. And some days they turn into jokes, and some days they turn into wallpapers, and some days they just turn into a gigantic drain on my hard drive. But I have lots and lots of screenshots, and I like to swap wallpapers around, and every now and then I accumulate them and share them. So there you go. Here's 10 on my site, and also pointers to another 28 on top of that. So if you're a DDO wallpaper fan, there ought to be one in there you like somewhere.
Yeah, I like those. Or you can get one of those things that rotates through them. I like those. Sure.
Good choice. The other thing I did, and I really, I was on vacation most of the time since last DDOcast, but I did make a post about loading screens, and it got me to thinking, what are the top 10 things I'd like to see on a loading screen? Not necessarily helpful, right? But, some of them are pretty, obvious, right? So, all right, so I came up with a top 10 list with a little help, and here we go, if you've got time for that.
Oh, yeah, let's do that.
We
All right, number
haven't
10.
had a top 10 in ages, so I love top 10.
All right, well, here we go. The top 10 things that could appear on a load screen. Number 10, hitting monsters with a weapon is a good way to do damage to them. Okay, that one was I already used once, but all right. Yeah. Number 9, rangers do a little damage from a big distance. With practice, you can keep your party meleeers running in fruitless circles all night.
Yay!
Number 8, characters that cast spells are called spellcasters. Like I said, they're not all good, right? Number 7, please do not boast and berate other members of your party. That's what general chat is for. Number 6.
Nothing says love like an important flame war in general chat.
Especially coming out of the brawling pits.
For new players, caps are required.
Number 6. Using one big weapon in both hands is called two-handed fighting. Using one weapon in each hand is called two-weapon fighting. Using a shield is called giving up on DPS. Number 5. Elminster is just like Gandalf, except with less creativity and more of a mean streak. Number 4. Wizards and sorcerers cast haste. Supposedly they have other uses too, or so people say. Number 3. Rapiers are thin, dainty weapons that somehow do more damage than a broadsword. Number 2. Open mics are especially useful to your group when you have a serious flu or head cold. And the number 1 tip that ought to appear on a load screen somewhere, hit points are often helpful.
I hear they're overrated.
Hit points are overrated?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for a DDO top 10.
Yay!
Yay!
Although you have to get some pointers from Rebus. You forgot to explain all of them. You have to explain why they're funny afterwards.
Oh, God, no. That goes on a top 10 list of ways not to describe a top 10 list.
Cool. All right, you got any plans for upcoming articles? Or?
Actually, a couple. I don't know. I've been working for a couple of weeks on... It occurs to me that suddenly we just have a lot of dragons. And I want to put together an index of them.
Oh, okay.
And I've been working on it for a couple of weeks. It's not ready yet. Maybe I might get to it this week. I might not. I don't know.
Sounds good, though. I like that. Ann and I fought the green dragon a lot recently. I like him. He's pretty cool.
But which one? There's 3.
Oh, yeah. I guess that's true. The one down in the well.
Right. He's the one who drops scales.
Yeah.
I knew about that. Because did you get your green dragon armor yet?
No, because I've been busy and I haven't been able to get my purple dragon knight favor. Yeah.
Yeah, we got to get together with the guildings.
If you're on Thelanis and you would want a piker, please let me know.
If you're running elite.
I need epic elite purple dragon knight favor.
I can just picture somewhere there's a raid leader going, man, if I just had a piker.
Yeah. What I need is a level 20 Hagelvard in my group. Anne's not a piker. She's actually really good. So.
I was talking about you because I was bringing.
Oh, that's right. You're gonna come along. You need a spot from me. I understand. That makes sense. Indeed.
Oh, but yeah, if you're on the Lannis, let me know because I need help.
That'd be good.
I can't
tried
do
to
it
do
by
a couple
myself.
Leagues, but that didn't work so great.
Oh my God, we tried to do a couple of the epic ones, and man, did it end up this horrible mess. And if we were real Flesh Life, we would be smears on the wall.
Well, we got through one of them. We did do one. We completed one of them, but yeah, that was about it so far. And often we struggle, we struggle mightily and get to a certain point and they get wiped. And are like, yep, there's no way in hell we're doing that. Oh well. Let's see. Speaking of playing DDO, what have I been doing? I've not been playing DDO, sadly. I've been playing XCOM Enemy Unknown, which is a PC game, turn-based strategy game / tactics game where you fight off alien invaders on the Earth. Anyway, it's a fantastic game. So if you want to take a break from DDO at some point, playing XCOM Enemy Unknown, I highly recommend. I'm not, it doesn't have a real high replay value. The scenario is kind of always the same, but if you ratchet up the difficulty level, it can be quite challenging, and that's kind of how I've been enjoying that game for the most part. Still trying to do my classic difficulty Iron Man mode, which is where you don't get to go back to save game. You only have one save, and it's only for when you decide to stop playing. But tons of fun that. But I did play a little bit of DDO this weekend. Since I was working on the Doublestrike article, I busted out my Doublestrike character and got a level on him. And just before the show, I was playing one of my sort of, I guess they call it the Exploiter build, Ranger with a splash of Monk and Rogue. Although he doesn't have his Rogue level yet, but almost got that. So, I don't know. That was fun. I was playing that a little bit. How about you, darling?
Oh, I've been doing mostly real-life crafting.
Yeah.
I'm redesigning my kitchen. So, I've been, being very handy around the house.
You gained a couple levels, I could tell. I mean, nice stuff.
Gained a couple levels.
Made some bedside lamps from scratch. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, basically,
Nice.
I scrounged a couple of stuff, and I created like a couple lamps all on my. I even did the wiring on my own. Yay!
Yeah.
Wow.
They're really slick. So they used to be bathroom mirrors, but they've been transformed into lamps.
She's mastered the radiance trade already, and early in her crafting process. Very nice.
Yeah, it's pretty talented.
Kind of working on my eBay store as well, because I need to fix that up. On the back end, I've been trying to work on DDOcast.com and a number of the feeds, and trying to work on... people have may notice that our iTunes and RSS feed for our audio files is a little bit slow. So I've been trying to find alternatives on how to get that to be a little bit more reliable. So if you've been wondering why, that's why. So that's been my week. And then, of course, Christmas comes by. It's completely sideswiped me because I got to do a bunch of holiday stuff with friends and stuff and family and whatnot. So.
How about you, Jeff? Oh, sorry.
That's all right. Go all right. We'll end it there. And then the new year. That's just started. So, yeah, It's been busy. I haven't played DDO. I'm sorry to say it. I will soon.
I managed to get in a little bit of DDO, not a ton. I flew home for the holidays and lots of family activities and so forth, and that was very nice. But I did get some in. I've got my capped characters working on her destiny tree, and she might have it finished. I'm not sure. I wish I knew which epic destinies actually worked and which don't. For example, I went into the primal avatar because I wanted to have that, the little bird that follows you around and gives you a buff. That just sounded appealing to me. And I thought it would be a good use of a twist of fate. But it turns out it doesn't stack. So it's just a little bird. And, that's cool, but not as cool. So, I'm pretty close to done with my dwarven axe swinging halfling frenzied barbarian.
Halfling with dwarven axes. That's great.
Oh, yeah. Tiny little girl, giant blood dripping axes, and wears her crafted starter rags with pride. She's awesome.
Too cool.
What server are you on, by the way? What server are you on, by the way?
I'm on Sarlona.
Oh, Sarlona, that's right.
Right. So if you see a halfling wandering around in her starter rags with matching epic axes, that's probably Nick or Tam. Say hi.
Awesome.
Cool. Let's see, community news. Not very much of that this week either. The Lillian's map shop has been updated. It's with the new adventure areas. It's kind of a nice forum thread that has links to... you've probably seen the maps on a number of sites, but they're very nicely made maps with all the explorers and things marked on them. Very easy to read. Good stuff. So those are there, and probably soon to be on any and every DDO site that hosts maps near you. And that brings us to a little Crunchy Bits light. Doublestrike. Doublestrike. Say it twice, because that's what it's all about. So, Doublestrike, what is it? It gives you a percentage chance to take an additional attack with your main hand melee weapon. If you have 6% Doublestrike, then you will get a bonus attack, roughly 6 out of 100 attacks. It does not impact range attacks, spells, offhand attacks, or attacks that use special animations, like cleave or trip and so forth. It will, however, affect special attacks that use standard animations, such as smites or key strikes, or anything that you throw and kind of applies an effect to what would otherwise be a normal attack. So there are a number of sources of Doublestrike. They are small compared to other kinds of bonuses you can get, but there are still quite a few of them in the game. The nice thing is that means there's a little bit of creativity, but also you don't have to do a whole lot of studying to figure out how to use it. The stacking rules, however, for Doublestrike have never really been verified by the developers. They're a bit confusing. They generally follow the normal format, so if it has a type listed, it generally will not stack with other Doublestrike bonuses of the same type. You will just get the biggest one of that type. However, there are a number that do not tell you what type they are, or they are untyped. And they will generally stack if they're from different sources. So generally, a weapon will stack with a feat, or a feat will stack with an enhancement, or an epic ability, that sort of thing. 2 feat bonuses without types generally won't stack if they're different types of feats. It really depends. It gets kind of confusing at that point, and you just have to know which things stack and which things don't. But we'll cover that. I'm going to kind of break them down into groups by which ones will stack with which ones and which ones won't. So if I list them together in a group, then generally speaking, it's not going to stack with each other, and if they're listed separately, then they will. So you can, however, nicely these days see how much Doublestrike you have, and you can experiment with this and see which things do stack and which things don't. In your character sheet, next to your base attack bonus is a little red icon, and if you hover over that, you will see like 3 different statistics. I believe they have Doublestrike, and then melee alacrity, like how much additional melee speed you have, and then ranged alacrity, how much ranged extra speed you have. So, and the nice thing is essentially melee alacrity, like you get from haste or from certain other things, will stack, sort of, with Doublestrike. They don't have the same effect, but they are complementary in the fact that the faster you attack, the more times you get to roll for your Doublestrike chance. So the two things go well together. If you can increase your attack speed and increase the number of Doublestrikes, it has a little bit of an exponential effect on your character. So let's go over the different sources of Doublestrike. First of all, we have the Mystery Shield bonus, which is interesting because, as far as I can tell, it's not documented anywhere. But while I was doing my experimentation, I noticed it. If you are carrying a shield, pretty much any kind of shield, you get 4% Doublestrike for having it equipped. And it's not from a feat or a class ability or anything else like that. It is a little odd in that after you take your shield off, if you logged in with the shield, you'll still see it listed on the character sheet when you hover over the little icon. I'm guessing it probably actually does go away, and it's only effective while you're carrying a shield. But just so you know, you get 4%. We don't know what type it is. It appears to stack with pretty much everything, but you have that when you're using a shield. Now, if you have, there are competence bonuses. Fighter Weapon Alacrity Capstone, which they get at level 20, gives you a 10% Doublestrike, and it's a competence bonus. And it is the only competence bonus, which means it stacks with pretty much everything. You can get a Sacred bonus from Paladin Zeal, the spell, which you can get at level 14 Paladin. It's, I believe, a level 5 spell, might be level 6. Anyway, it gives you 10% Doublestrike. It doesn't appear on scrolls. It's a self-buff only. It's temporary, but it lasts long enough that you could sustain it for pretty much a whole adventure without too much trouble. So you might as well consider it permanent. And it stacks with everything because it's the only Sacred bonus. However, limited to level 14 plus Paladins. Insight bonuses. Also, there's only one source of these, and that is a monk wind stance. So you have to be a monk and be in the wind stance, and depending on the level of wind stance you have, it goes up. It starts at 2.5 for first level monk. 5% you can get at level 6. You have to have the enhancement for this as well. 7.5% at level 12, and 10% at level 18 for the maximum Grandmaster wind stance. The wind stance also has some dex requirements and so on and so forth. So basically, you've got 3 classes that can get 10%. Fighter, Paladin, and Monk. And then Monk has ability to get lesser amounts at lesser levels. Okay, so then we're going to get into morale bonuses. And even though it doesn't say it in DDO, if you have an item, a weapon, or a piece of equipment of some kind that gives you a Doublestrike bonus, it is probably treated as a morale bonus and will not stack with other morale bonuses. So here's all the morale bonuses, pretty much in the order of how big a bonus you can get. Up at the top of the list, we have Shield Mastery and Improved Shield Mastery. Those are feats that you can take. Shield Mastery gives you 3%, and Improved Shield Mastery gives you 8%. And indeed, this does stack with the 4% you get just for using a shield anyway. So if you have Improved Shield Mastery and a shield, you're actually getting up to 12%. But 8 of it is coming from that feat. Then there are a bunch of items. Time Blade, which at its normal version gives you 3%, and its epic version 6%. And this pattern's followed with a bunch of items. Hellstroke Great Axe is also 3% and 6% for epic. The Cutthroat Small Blade is 3%, 6% if you do the Tier 3 upgrades on it. The Swashbuckler Shield, which is a light shield, is 3% or 6% with a Tier 3 upgrade. Alchemical Weapons, any of them that you like, there's a Tier 2 Material Air upgrade, which is 6%. Antipode, Fists of the Horizon, is a set of hand wraps that you can get in one of the new quest series. That's 6%. I believe it's a turn-in for something. I don't recall exactly. The Bard 2 War Chanter Prestige Enhancement Inspire Recklessness Song is also a morale bonus. It's 5%. And because it doesn't stack with any of the weapons, anybody who's really interested in Doublestrike isn't going to be too excited about Inspire Recklessness. Way of the Sun Soul set bonus will give you 6% temporary bonus. That's also one of the turn-in sets. I think it's for the citizens of Evening Star, something like that, the peasants or whatever it is. Anyway, if you have all the items equipped, occasionally it will proc a 6% morale bonus. But again, it doesn't stack with items, so most people don't really care about it. And then there's the Epic Spare Hand, which is a epic level belt, and it'll give you 3%. And again, it's probably going to be overshadowed by anything else. So if you're really looking for Doublestrike, you don't care much about that. So those are all the morale bonuses. Then we have untyped class and feat enhancements. So there are a set of feats called Natural Fighting that druids can take, and they can take them starting at level 9, and they can take the feat up to 3 times. You don't ever need more than 9 druid levels, but you're going to need 2 more feat slots after level 9, since you get one at level 9. Druids don't get bonus feats for that, so you're going to be, taking it with your regular feat slots. So anyway, each of those is worth 6%, and they stack with each other. So you can get up to a total of 18%, and it only takes effect when you are in animal form. So if you're a bear or in wolf form, you can get plus 18 to your Doublestrike. And that is by far and away the largest single place where you can get Doublestrike, making druids pretty much kings of this arena. All right, now Ranger Tempest 3, which you can get at Ranger level 18, will give you 5% Doublestrike of an unknown type when wielding 2 weapons. I wasn't able to verify what it stacks with or doesn't. And also Rogue Opportunist, if you take that, it is a bonus feat that only rogues can take, starting at level 10, and then they get, I think, 2 or 3 more opportunities to take bonus feats. It's quite a good one. It gives you 3% Doublestrike, and also helps reduce fortification on enemies, so it's a real nice one to take. You get that at Rogue level 10. You can't take it more than once, so 3% is all the rogues are going to get out of that. Then there's an alchemical bonus, which comes from the Fabricator's Bracers. This is from the House Cannith quest series. And they have something called Combat Infusion, but it's a temporary proc. It gives you a 5% alchemical bonus to Doublestrike, but it's temporary. It lasts for like 6 seconds, and it only comes up every once in a while. So it's one of those things that you can't really rely on. But
I think the proc chance on that is 1.5% per hit.
Yeah, something like that, and it only lasts for 6 seconds.
And you have 1.5% chance of actually getting it.
Of getting 5% Doublestrike. So yeah, doing the math. It's not exactly a big investment. Now, if you like those bracers anyway, that's fine. But untyped Epic Destinies. Now, these seem to stack with pretty much everything. So if you throw these on, you're in good shape. The Sentinel line, the Unyielding Sentinel, has a Legendary Shield Mastery, which has 3 ranks for 2% each. Basically, you're going to take that all the way up. So you're going to get a 6% bonus when using a shield. Legendary Dreadnought has another one of these temporary boosts. It's called Lightning Mace, and it will give you a 15% boost for 6 seconds after a Vorpal strike. So when you roll a 20 only. It's a big bonus, so it's kind of cool, but you have to use a blunt weapon, and it only going to last for 6 seconds. So I didn't really count it as kind of a main source for doing my little calculations, but you could certainly do that.
It has to be a blunt weapon?
Yeah, it only works with blunt weapons.
Isn't there something sort of opposite about blunt weapons with Vorpal strikes?
Yeah, well, I guess so, yeah, indeed. They just call it a Vorpal strike now. It's a natural 20, but yeah, that's their term for it. But yeah, well, I've been in some D&D games where that's been described before. Remove the head with a mace. Yeah, I've got some instructions on the board that can help with that. Let's see. Also, in the Epic land, we have the Grandmaster of Flowers. As you might expect, the Monk line has some of this. Hail of Blows is a 3% double strike. Just flat out, that's what you get. Grandmaster of Flowers has Running with the Wind, which will give you a 3% bonus when you are in wind stance. So that's kind of for wind monks only. You can twist a fate the Hail of Blows. Anybody who's really interested in double strike and maximizing it is probably going to do that because it's a 3%. It works for any kind of character. You just have to do some Grandmaster of Flowers. I think it's only level 2, so pretty easy to twist in. And then finally there's a Profane bonus, which is the only one around, and that's in Shadow Dancer, but it's not something you can twist a fate because it's part of their, the base levels. And I believe it's at Shadow Training 4. And it's also a temporary one. It only works when you're using certain light weapons, such as sickles and short swords and daggers and stuff like that, little kind of small weapons. And it'll only give you 3% for 6 seconds, and it procs out, and so on and so forth. So, again, it's not one of those, like, you can rely on it. It's more of a... I think this one you activate. You choose when it activates, but it has a short period of time that it works for. So, a bonus you can get, but not a reliable one. So that's pretty much it as far as I could find. There might be an epic item or two out there. There might be some more morale bonuses on weapons or something. But as far as I know, that's pretty much all there is. So what are the builds that give you the most double strike if that's what you want to do? Well, number one would be the shield-based druids. Druids just have a big advantage because of natural fighting. So that's going to give you plus 18%. If you're using a shield and you take the 2 shield mastery feats, now keep in mind that's a total of 5 feats you've invested in this, that's going to give you plus 8 from shield mastery and plus 4, which is going to take you all the way up to 30%. So, which is almost a third more attacks. That's pretty good. Then you take legendary shield mastery from the Dreadnought line, twist that into whatever your thing is, and you're going to have another 6%, which gets you to 36, and then twist in the Hail of Blows from Grandmaster of Flowers for another 3, for a grand total of 39% that you pretty much have all the time. Now in Wolf mode, which is nice because Wolf mode attacks 30% faster, and if you take some Rogue levels, you only need 9 levels of Druid, but you might take more than that. But if you have Rogue or Fighter in there, you can get Haste Boost, and you can throw on that speed bonus as well. So you can attack really, really, really fast. Not a bad character build. I don't know if it's top-tier DPS or anything, but pretty effective, and you could be a pretty powerful spellcasting Druid at the same time. So I think it's pretty cool. I have a character a bit like this. He's a trapping Rogue Druid and is set up to take some of these enhancements. Right now, low level, so I only have plus 7% double strike or something. But I think at 39%, you're definitely going to notice a lot of extra attacks. So should be pretty fun. You can also do a Monk multi-class Druid, where you're fighting in wolf form. Again, you get all the speed bonuses and such. Plus 18 for natural fighting, plus 5 for the second tier wind stance, because you're only going to be able to take up to 11 monk levels, which is only going to get you the second tier wind stance that you get at level 6. So there's plus 5 for that. Then plus 3 for Hail of Blows, and plus 3 Running with the Wind. We're just going to assume you're probably a Grandmaster of Flowers. You don't need to twist anything else in. And then plus 6 from an item that you're going to carry for your morale bonus for a total of 35%. Remember, the Druid doesn't care about the item bonus because their shield mastery feats are the same type, so they won't stack. So, yeah, 35%, just a little bit under the shield-using style Druid. Obviously, you can't mix those two because you can't use a shield and use your wind stance, so those two things don't stack. And so those are kind of the kings of the double strike category. Following that up, we're not going to break them down, but also, you could squeeze in, if you take Shadow Dancer as your main Epic Destiny and you use the Combat Infusion Bracers, you're going to have an extra 8% that you can tack on to either of those. So as far as I can tell, the maximum double strike you could have for a short period of time would be around 47%. Maybe a little faster if you're using that lightning mace thing, and you can figure out how to work that in. But anyway, after druids, you're going to have fighters and paladins who use shields because they get a flat 10%. But they're going to basically be the same as druid except 8% down, because instead of the 18 from natural fighting, they're going to have 10 from either zeal or from fighter alacrity. And then you've got your wind monks that are not druids at all, because they're going to have the 10% from the wind stance, and then you throw in all the other stuff I mentioned for the monk multiclass. You just don't get that you're down 8 points, or actually a little more than 8 points from the. So you get 10, but you're losing 23 from what the monk had, so you're down like 13 points, which puts you in the low 20s, which is okay, but nothing super exciting. Yeah, and then that's about that. After that, you're just getting into, well, I have 6% from an item, and maybe I took an enhancement somewhere, so you get low teens, that kind of thing. Rogues and fighters, of course, can throw in combat speed boost, which is just going to take a little extra advantage. And then any ability that is going to give you extra damage, so like smiting from a paladin or a monk's fist of death, that sort of thing might double proc out on a double strike, which can give you a whole bunch of damage. So that's kind of nice. So if you're going to do like a build, the ultimate double striking build, I would say maybe like a half-orc druid. Splash a little rogue or fighter in there, wield a shield, fight in wolf form, just figure out every other way that you can maximize your damage and attack speed, and you're good to go. Mine isn't quite like that. I have like a human. He was really made as a druid that can do trapping, so he's kind of a trapper druid. But I did the double strike thing just for his kind of combat shtick, so there you go. With the extra sneak attack, that's nice too. That's kind of a nice thing to work into the double strike action. And I think that's about it. Thanks to DDO Wiki and to Steel Trueheart for their hard work. They collected some of the information that I used. On this one, I definitely had to kind of go outside of that, although DDO Wiki was still helpful for looking up other things, and had to do some testing myself to get all the info. So it's kind of nice. A little bit exclusive here. Like I said, I never saw the 4%. Now, it must be listed somewhere, but I had a hard time finding anybody else that had mentioned it. So that's about that.
Cool.
That's a really nice piece of research. Thank you for sharing it.
Yeah, thanks. No problem. It's nice to have a kind of a narrow topic. Some of the things to research are really hard, but Double Strike's nice and contained, so that was fun to do.
Right.
I made
questions. Okay.
Go ahead, Ann. I'm sorry.
One of the things I really want to figure out is how much damage is increased based upon your Double Strike percentage bonus.
Well,
I think. Go ahead.
It's not that the damage doesn't increase; you're just doing it more, right?
Yeah, exactly. So you're just doing it more. So
here's the math. For example, I did a build that's before Druids came out a couple of years ago. I haven't played it. I've planned to play it. I've just 15 alts already. This one will be number 16 eventually. And he's a Knight of the Chalice 14, Shin Tao, Wind Monk 6. So he's at 21% double strike. But what that means is that 80% of the time he's going to get a free offhand attack. So he's already hitting twice, right? In addition to that, 20% of the time his main weapon will hit twice. And that also means that 16% of the time, 1 in 6, all of that's going to happen. My offhand's going to hit, my main hand's going to hit twice. And this is a smiting build, it's got 2 different types of smite available to it. There could be damage everywhere. It could be really outstanding.
Yep, the triple smite. Rawr. I've gotten that on rare occasions. Yeah, I have a paladin like that. He doesn't have quite as much monk, so I don't get the... And I usually run in sun stance rather than the wind stance, so my double strike isn't quite as high. But every once in a while I get the triple smite. It's super sexy. Like 500, 500, 500. You're like, yeah. I should say the triple crit smite.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but when you see that, it's good times. Doesn't happen real often though. The doubles happen fairly often. That's not too uncommon, but triples are pretty rare. Yeah, it's pretty nice. I guess it depends. It's easy to calculate if you don't have offhand attacks or glancing blows. So let's say you're a sword and shield guy. It's really easy. You just whatever your percentage of double strike, that's how much more damage you're doing, basically. Because unless you're getting the offhand shield attacks. But the thing is, double strike doesn't apply in the offhand attacks, so you can't just quite multiply. You'd have to isolate your main hand attacks, and then do the damage multiplication, and then add in the offhand attacks that you get, because they're not affected by the double strike. So, you can put it into a calculator pretty easy, but to do it in your head would be challenging. And of course, it is random, and they're fairly low percentages, so it's not like you'll always do 30% more. Some days you'll do 50% more, and some days you'll do 10% more, and it just kind of depends on how the dice go for you. Yeah, and then the other thing is these days, it's become a little more common to have characters that do special attacks like cleave. So a couple of my characters now are cleave monkeys, and so it's like cleave, great cleave, supreme cleave, ultra cleave, cleave, and practically just cycling those things, especially when I'm in a group of monsters. And Doublestrike doesn't work on that at all. So it would have much less impact on a character like that. So I generally wouldn't take it if you're taking all the cleaves and things like that. It doesn't make as much sense, especially if you use them. Some people take the cleaves and don't actually use them very often, but it just depends. So, or tactics characters. If you're a tactics fighter, it's a little less useful as well. Yeah, I think it's great on monks. I think most monks are going to want some Doublestrike. They might as well, and most paladins as well. It's one of those things you're like, yeah, you should work it into the build if you've got it.
I think it's great for shield tanks, and it's great for 2-weapon fighting DPS.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. Although I do have a shield tank that uses cleave a lot, so he gets a little less out of it. But
okay.
Yeah. But then again, I take most of those feats, like the Shield Mastery gives you some other benefits as well. So I already have Shield Mastery on him, so he gets the benefit. He just doesn't use it as often.
Cool.
Yeah, alrighty. I think that's about all we have for today's show. Got any last words for us there, Jeff?
Happy New Year!
Yeah, Happy New Year indeed.
Hope it's a prosperous one, and most importantly, a happy one. And not only for DDO players, but for Turbine and the DDO development staff and everybody involved in this game.
Cool. Absolutely, yeah. And hopefully we'll have lots of episodes of DDOcast this year. We've been pretty good on our regular track here. We're going to try and keep it as long as we can.
Yeah. Hopefully. The hard part is putting together those notes. It's like, I can either produce a show or put together some notes. I'm going to produce a show because those are more handy.
Yeah. Yeah. It does help. Helps to have the show notes, so we'll see. Okay. Well, big thanks to everybody out there.
Wait 1 moment. I have one more thing. Okay. Christopher from Facebook is asking if anyone is on server Orion and would like to start a static group. And he's been playing... he started playing again and has realized that all his friends have basically leveled out. And because he's got an XP stone and he wants just a static group to play with, basically, because it's a little bit easier to find other people, to get XP when you've got a group of people coming together at a set time and place. And he's pretty much got access to everything up through Menace of the Underdark. He hasn't bought any of the expansions after that. So if you're interested, email DDOcast@gmail.com and I will forward your inquiry to Christopher. So.
Cool. And what server was that?
Orion.
Orion. Okay, great. Okay. Well, sounds cool. Big thanks to everyone. Thank you, Darling, and all our DDOcast contributors, folks in the chat room, and our other fine listeners, and, of course, Turbine Wizards. And if you want to be a part of the show yourself, you can leave a voicemail on the toll-free York line at 1-855-DDO-YORK. You can email us at DDOcast@gmail.com. We'll read your letter on the air or answer questions. And you can give us something to say or make a request. You can even be on the show if you'd like to be. Join Jeff and I and Ann. And you could be part of the legacy and make us a commercial or a segment that will be in our archives forever. And we will replay it, especially if it's funny. All right. So we're going to go out with a little bit more puzzle music to puzzle your brain for the new year.